Okay, so I hope that you found that experience to be helpful for a variety of reasons. Sometimes when you read someone else's work that's in the same vein as your own, you get new ideas, not only about references and citations, but also ways to present information. So oftentimes I feel like reviewing peer work offers us a whole new lens onto thinking about our own. So hopefully you found that to be a useful exercise. It looked like a lot of you had completed at least one, if not two, of the peer reviews. So we're going to move on. Last week, there were quite a few people who felt they would benefit from a kind of a broader picture of what you're doing. So Jose and I talked about it. We put it together, kind of what all is involved. What are the big components of your final submission that's due in December? So the green are things that you're currently working on or have already completed most of. So the introduction, that is all part of your background and rationale that you included in the skeleton. The lit review is that next component of your skeleton, and then of course references you already worked on. So those pieces are all well in progress. The parts we're going to work on next are in red, and they relate to what we're going to do prior to Thanksgiving. So if you look at the structure here, you have the introduction, the lit review, methodology, and references. That's a lot of what you're seeing in your articles as well. So this is structured similar to an article. However, you won't actually be completing the data analysis. So you won't be able to have a results section and a discussion section per se. But we have substituted a couple of other things that are meaningful to the work that you're doing. So between now and Thanksgiving, we'll be working on the methodology section. And that's going to include the things that are under methodology. So we've got the data collection, the research tools, the data analysis plan, and then procedures document will come after. It will relate to all of these things, but it'll basically be your narrative of these pieces. And it will also include your implementation. So most of you are doing proposing some sort of intervention or strategy to examine how do your students respond to this particular strategy. That's going to be a big portion of that procedures document, is how exactly are you going to implement it? How are you implementing the strategy? And then you're going to create those research tools and you'll field test them. So we'll be talking the rest of class tonight about the tools, research tools and data collection. So before you before you say these are valid instruments that I would be using in a study, researchers will generally field test. So you might apply your observation protocol or those look-fors and see, are you getting what you intended to get? Can you do what you're intending to do? So for example, last year, we had some students create an observation protocol that they were planning to use while teaching that was like 8 pages long. And they couldn't flip back and forth between pages while they were teaching. So it became more problematic as a tool for them than just having a short list of what they were really needing to keep in mind to look for, and then just paying attention and making notes of that. So field tests are really important because they give you a lot of information on how to adjust and improve your tools. So you'll field test them, and then that will be all for before Thanksgiving. And then at the end, you'll do a reflection on your action research journey and your next steps. our hope is that many of you will actually implement your strategy and do some data collection according to your plan. And that used to be the whole second semester, was actually implementing it and collecting the data on it. So our hope is that you'll be able to do that, but and so that might be part of what you put in your next steps. But after spending so much time on your plan, it's our hope that you actually get to do it. Does anyone have any questions about the kind of the big picture about kind of where we've been and where we're going and what this looks like? I get to see like 5 of you at a time when I have the shared screen thing going. Looks like I'm seeing nobody's looking desperate here. Okay. All right. So we're going to proceed with our reader response procedures. So you guys wrote 3 questions as part of your work. Oh, Jose, you're back to host, right?
Let me see. I'm not sure.
Because you'll need to start. So Jose is going to start putting you in groups. Don't go yet until we've gotten all the instructions out, but it'll give you an invite to a group. So he'll start putting you in groups according to your reader response group. But what you're going to do is you're going to spend about 5 minutes in your group, and you'll decide which question you want to forward to the entire group for an entire group discussion. When we originally planned this, we were intending to have most of us in one place, and we've never done a whole group discussion on the Zoom before. So it will be interesting to see how a whole group discussion on Zoom goes. You guys are going to be responsible for actually talking, because Jose and I can't just talk at each other. So be prepared. But group 1 will select one question that from the whole group, from your group. Pick one question that you feel, that your group feels you most interested in discussing around the Shigori-Miller power, and then one other question from the other two that you've got. Group 2 will select one question from Sullivan et al. Chapter 5, and one other question. Group 3 will select one question from Sullivan et al. Chapter 6 and one other question, and Group 4 gets to pick the 3 best questions from any reading that they would like to forward to the group. So we'll go through the first ones first as a whole group, and if we have time, we will proceed on to the second question that the different groups have selected, so that you kind of know. So Jose, are you going to put them in groups?
I'm making them. Already have 5 of them in group 1, so they're going to be separated now. It's taking me about 30 seconds to make a group, so
okay.
but the first one is done.
Yep, questions.
How do we forward them to the group? We just know what they're going to be, or is there a place to?
And you're just going to say them. So it's so hard to use language anymore because everybody uses it for different things, right? So forwarding or presenting your question to the group.
Okay.
Any other questions? So we intend to get back at about, well, so 7:10. I'm going to stop sharing. You guys know which questions you're looking for, right? Okay. Then I can see everyone's faces. So much better than sharing.
Do we have Erin with a Y?
No.
Okay. It's taking me longer because some of you don't have your names. It's just like some kind of code. Okay, wait. Molly, Rebecca, wait. Room 2 and room 1 and 4 is busy.